The distress signal had been broadcasting for 72 hours before anyone noticed it. The Velkori research vessel Gentle Contemplation had been studying gravitational anomalies near the Helix Nebula when their containment systems failed. Now, their ship was breaking apart, and their atmospheric processors were dying. The Galactic Council received the signal first. Protocol demanded immediate response, but when the automated systems calculated the location, deep in the unstable Crimson sector, every registered rescue vessel declined. Too dangerous, too volatile. The radiation alone would kill most species within hours. The Velkori captain, Thessinar, watched his crew's life signs weakening on the display. They had perhaps 40 hours left. He had made peace with their fate when the communication array crackled to life. Velkori vessel. This is the human ship Relentless. We've received your distress call. Hang tight. We're coming for you. Thessinar's 3 hearts skipped in unison. Humans, the Deathworlders. He'd heard stories, whispered tales in station cantinas about the species from the nightmare planet they called Earth. A world so hostile that simply existing there was considered an extreme sport by galactic standards. Gravity that crushed bones, an atmosphere that corroded lungs, predators at every level of the food chain, and a sun that bombarded them with radiation daily. And yet, they thrived. Lieutenant Anna Kowalski checked her radiation badge for the 3rd time in 10 minutes. The readings were climbing, but still within acceptable limits. Acceptable for a human, anyway. Anyone else would have already evacuated. "You're going to wear that thing out," Roma Chen said from the pilot's seat, his hands dancing across the controls as he navigated through a field of debris that would have shredded most ships. The Relentless was built different. Reinforced hull plating, redundant shields, and engines that could burn hot enough to escape a star's gravity well if needed. Humanity didn't build ships for leisure cruises. "Just keeping track," Anna replied, moving to the engineering console. The gravitational shear in this sector was playing havoc with their stabilizers. She rerouted power from non-essential systems, her fingers moving with practiced efficiency. Growing up in the mining colonies of Europa had taught her to work under pressure, literal and metaphorical. 20 minutes to intercept, Roma announced. Their hull integrity is at 18%. We'll need to move fast. Anna activated the rescue protocols, checking their emergency pods and medical supplies. The Velkori were a fragile species by human standards. Low-gravity world, carefully controlled environment, minimal radiation exposure. What was killing them slowly would barely register as uncomfortable to her and Roma. "I've got a visual," Roma said, bringing up the forward display. The Gentle Contemplation was a beautiful ship, all elegant curves and bioluminescent panels, or at least it had been. Now it tumbled through space, trailing atmosphere and debris. One entire section had been torn away by the gravitational anomaly, exposing the delicate interior to the void. Anna's heart clenched. People were dying in there. "Take us in close," she ordered, already moving toward the airlock. "I'll suit up and retrieve them manually if I have to." Roma shot her a look. "The radiation is something I've dealt with before. Remember I.O. Station?" Anna was already pulling on her EVA suit, designed to withstand conditions that would vaporize most species' equipment. "Besides, they've been calling for help for 3 days. Everyone else saw the danger and turned away. We didn't come all this way to let them die because it's a little hot out there." Roma grinned, despite the tension. That was the thing about humans. They were either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid, and the line between the two was razor thin. "Little hot? You mean the radiation that's currently at levels classified as immediately lethal to 70% of known species?" 70% isn't 100%, Anna countered, sealing her helmet. "And more importantly, it's not us." The Relentless matched velocity with the dying Velkori ship, close enough that Anna could see the desperate faces pressed against the remaining viewports. She activated the magnetic clamps on her boots and stepped into the airlock. The EVA was brutal. The radiation alarms in her suit screamed constantly, and the gravitational turbulence tried to tear her away from the hull 3 times. But Anna had grown up in environments where a single equipment failure meant death. She'd learned to climb ice walls on Europa while wearing a pressure suit. She'd repaired solar arrays while perched on the edge of orbital platforms, Earth's radiation belts searing overhead. This was just another day at the office. She reached the Valkyrie airlock and overrode the damaged systems manually, her tools designed for exactly this kind of brute force repair. The inner door opened, and she found herself face to face with Captain Thessinar and his crew, 12 beings who looked at her with a mixture of terror and hope. "You came," Thessinar whispered in broken standard. "Of course we came," Anna said simply, helping the first crew member toward the transfer tunnel Roma had extended. "You called for help." The rescue took 47 minutes. 47 minutes of Anna and Roma working in conditions that would have killed most rescuers in seconds. They moved the Valkyrie crew one by one, carrying the weakest, guiding the stronger, never hesitating despite the alarms, the radiation, the danger. When the last Valkyrie was safely aboard the Relentless, Thessinar gripped Anna's arm with trembling hands. "Why?" he asked. "Everyone else refused. They said it was too dangerous. Why did you come?" Anna looked at him, then at Roma, who was already plotting a course to the nearest medical station. She thought about Earth, the beautiful, terrible world that had forged humanity in fire and ice and radiation and gravity. The world that had taught them that survival meant adaptation, that impossible was just another challenge, that turning away from someone in need was never an option. "Because someone needed help," she said finally, "and because we could." As the Relentless accelerated away from the Crimson Sector, carrying its precious cargo of rescued lives, Thessinar understood something that would eventually spread throughout the galaxy. The Deathworlders weren't just survivors. They were the ones who answered the calls that everyone else was too afraid to hear. They were humanity, and they didn't know how to give up.